And welcome back to the most anticlimactic show in all of baseball, the Walk On Walk. Here today, I got Dom. Dom, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm here. Me and you doing duo today, not a three-peat part team here. Thomas went on the DL with a girlfriend trip, so.
Yeah, you may notice that certain diehard Astros fan is missing today, but we will still cover this past week in the playoffs and what we think moving forward. All right, so let's get started with just a little recap real quick. The AL wild card, Yanks took out the Twins. It was a pretty crazy game, though. You got any thoughts on that one?
Give it up for those people that stayed, man. That's Eastern time. That's a late night on a Tuesday. I don't think many people were showing up to work in New York on a Wednesday, but as much as I'm not a Yankee fan or enjoy seeing the Yankees win, that was a great game. The fact that you lose your starting pitcher a third into the game and still win a game speaks to the volume of the Yankees bullpen. And that is where their strength, other than obviously major home runs that go far, is their bullpen. And I mean, that can win you games, and that showed. But the only thing that I saw that could have hurt them is they had to use Chad Green for so long. David Robertson set a record for how long he's pitched. So, I mean, you do extend them, and they had a little bit of time, obviously, but to face a good Indians team following up, I mean, that you don't want to see your bullpen used like that going into it. But in a win-or-go-home game, you kind of have to. And in that situation, I'll say Joe Girardi managed well. As we saw in game 2, I should say, not 3. Game 2 in Cleveland, we'll get to some mismanagement he had there, but I will obviously have to give him the credit for being willing to yank your starter after a third. That's a bold move that you don't know if pays off. And I'll give credit to the Twins. I mean, the fact that they made it there, it's pretty incredible how they turned around. They got to add some more firepower somewhere. They need another big hitter in that lineup, especially with Sano being hurt. Mm-hmm. Just kind of took out the big bat. And I mean, nothing against Irvin Santana. He did a great job this year, but that was a hard, you don't have another big name guy that can go out there and win you that game. But still give credit to the Twins. They fought. They put up a great first inning and made the game interesting. So I'll give them that.
Well, I gotta say too, I'm not a huge Yankees. Honestly, I don't particularly like the Yankees. But to see Aaron Judge hit that bomb, I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, this young kid, and he hits that home run, and I'm sure that atmosphere is nothing like he's ever played in before. And he when he hit that, the look on his face, he looked like a little kid that just hit a home run. Yeah. I mean, it was pretty awesome to see. Yanks won that one. They're taking on Cleveland right now. We'll get into that here in a minute. We'll go over to the National League wild card where the D-backs took care of the Rockies. Real quick, Dom, you got anything to say about that?
That was another great wild card game. Wild card games have not disappointed. Whether you're a fan of no matter what wild card 1 or 2, you only get one game. I know people have thrown out random, make it best of 3, whatever. But that's win or go home. They make good games happen. I mean, you're seeing them throw out everything they can do. Once again, you saw starters did not go far. Back and forth, you saw the Diamondbacks pull away, and you're like, "Oh, it's over." And next thing you know, the Diamondbacks hit 2 home runs, and they're right back in it. We saw Archie Bradley, a pitcher, hit a triple, and that's when he hit the 2-run triple. Oh, Diamondbacks got it. They just gave themselves room, and then he comes back out and he lets up 2 home runs. I mean, just the fact that you definitely can't doubt anything in these wild card games. Once again, I just say it just didn't disappoint. That was for sure my point from that game.
Yeah, I don't think they should reconsider changing the game count on those at all. I think a 1-game win or go home. I think that's best. It made for fun baseball to watch. That's for sure. So then we'll go ahead and jump up to the ALDS with Boston versus Houston, and Houston took care of them early today, 3-1. Thomas's Astros move forward. What do you got to say, Thomas?
Well, Thomas? I'll speak for Thomas, and I'll do the Josh Reddick Woo! As they've been inspired by Ric Flair, Josh Reddick, a huge WWE fan. So
Right.
I'll speak for Thomas in that part for the Astros. I know Thomas will like us to know and remind. He told us that he picked the Astros in 4, so he picked that correctly. I picked the Astros in 3. They let me down a little bit, game 3 by not happening. And gotta give credit to Josh Reddick for coming back today after a rough game 3 where he had a home run took away by Mookie Betts in right field. And then later in the game, he, on that short fence in right field, ran up to it and had the ball hit off his glove and over the fence as he let up a home run. So that was a rough, but then he came around 2 for 4, hit a big clutch RBI today against Craig Kimbrell, one of the best closers in the MLB right now, to put the Astros in a great position. So credit for them. Verlander pitched great in his start. And then he came in as a relief today. Interesting use. His first, as they said, as an adult. He has never came out of the bullpen in pros, in college, or in the minors. So interesting use of him. I know he did let up a home run, but that was his only hit he allowed in 2 2/3. So other than the home run, he did he got the win. So he was 2-0 in that series. So he won 2 of the 3 games. So, I mean, that was my thing when they didn't pick up anyone at the deadline. I was like, I told Thomas, I was like, you need to get a pitcher. You need to get one more big pitcher. And then whenever it kept coming up, I kept telling him, I was like, this is going to happen. He's like, it's not. No, it's just talk. And I was like, I really think it's going to happen, especially once the Tigers just started throwing down the tank. I mean, I know Verlander wanted to stay loyal, but at the same time, he needs to be put in position for the playoffs. He's a great playoff pitcher. So I think that's why I kind of put him as my over the Indians in the next series. Now, granted, the Indians haven't made it. Not saying they will. You never know. But I think that piece of having him lead the staff with his experience, especially with their offense being so great, that's a big difference maker. And the fact that they are one of the lowest teams striking out, but with most home runs. Now, baseball, we see strikeouts, home runs, walks. I mean, that seems to be one of the 3 results you have right now, but they don't strike out. Interesting. I know Correa did strike out, but it was his first swing and miss of the series.
Really?
Yeah. Coming into the game, I think he swung, like they said, 26 times, no swings and misses. He at least made contact with the ball every time he swung until today. That's crazy enough.
Incredible.
So, yeah. So Astros, obviously the better team, and they took care of it. Yep.
Let's see. We'll go ahead and go down to the other ALDS game. New York, Cleveland, which currently Cleveland is ahead 2-1.
Yep. It could be 2-1 Yankees, as much as I don't want to say it. Now, granted, it's hard to say that and say for sure if that call would have not happened, the Yankees would have won. It was at the situation. I mean, it's 8-3 in the game, and the ball hit the knob, and Joe Girardi, you got to challenge it. It doesn't lose you anything, man. You don't care about the rhythm of the pitcher. No, you go out there and you make sure that call's right. That does not – you can't let a free base runner on base. You can't do that. It's playoff baseball. Every single batter matters right now, and it shows. Lindor hits the grand slam, 8-7, and guess what? Cleveland's rocking again. That stadium's going nuts, tied up. And if I'm going lengthwise, if it's going 13 innings, Yankees don't want to see that. No matter how great their bullpen is, that's just that's your strength. And the more you use them, you're hurting yourself. Indians they don't care. They'll throw us. That's what they put Tomlin in there late. He could have started today, but they're just like, we'll use Tomlin today or in the game 2. We're not worried about it. Use a starter to eat some innings, and they won that game. Jay Bruce has been a huge addition, and I don't know if everyone knew, but the Yankees and Indians were both going after him from the Mets, and the big difference between the offers was the Indians were willing to take on all of his salary. The Yankees were not. So the Mets were obviously looking to just dump the salary as well, and that won him Jay Bruce, and Jay Bruce has been a reason why the Indians are winning this series right now. And it'll be interesting to see tonight as Bauer, dude's been on since the All-Star break, and he's 3-0 with a .92 ERA and 3 starts versus the Yankees this year. and Bauer has had the Yankees numbers just this year. Like I said, playing great down the stretch past the All-Star break. He's a dangerous pitcher. He's one of those guys you call crazy on the mound, and he is. He has that mentality, but it works for him on the mound. And the pitches he has in his repertoire, those are what shuts down the big bats of Judge and Sanchez. As we saw in Game 1, he had 3 strikeouts versus Judge because the pitches he has and where he can locate them, those are the biggest flaws of Judge. So, and I know he's coming off 3 days rest, but as he said, if in a perfect world, he would come off 3 days rest every time.
Right.
That's his mentality. He would rather pitch. He doesn't want those extra rests. He wants to get out there. He feels good. He wants to pitch every 3 days or on the 3 days rest. And then Severino, will he bounce back? He is a great pitcher. I mean, I'll give him that. He's had a great year. Bad wild card start. You're going back in the same situation. Go home, bigger, win or go home type game here in Yankee Stadium again versus a better team now. So I honestly think he will pitch better.
Yeah.
But I think the Indians with Bauer is a great start tonight, and especially with the home crowd, he's going to love making them mad. I think he's going to thrive off of that and have another great outing. And I think the Indians win. I'm going to give it about a 5-3 score.
So you think Indians wrap it up tonight?
I think they'll wrap it up tonight.
Okay. I think the Yankees will tie it up 2-2 tonight. I don't think they're going to win the series, but I think you'll see. I think you'll see a close game tonight. Yanks will squeak by, and then Cleveland, I think, will smack them the next game and just end it right there.
And it'll be interesting because Game 5 is Kluber on normal rest, which was Kluber normal rest on Game 2, and Yankees smacked them around. And like you said, I mean, if they do, Yankees win tonight. It's going to. I mean, Kluber twice is going to be very, very hard. So I could see exactly what you're saying, that scenario. If they lose or the Yankees win tonight, I could see the Indians coming right back and, like you said, just smashing them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if the Yankees can beat Kluber twice, man, all to you guys, man. That's impressive. They got his number Game 2, but I mean, to get one of the best pitchers and take him down twice, especially with him being up for a Cy Young this year, Cy Young winner in the past, man, that's going to be hard to do.
Yes. So, we'll jump over then to the NLDS, and we'll go with a game that's currently being played, Cubs-Nats, which game series is 1-1. You have the score as of right now. It was 1-1.
The Cubs just scored in the bottom of the 8th with the bloop single. So Wade Davis, their big-time closers on right now, facing Daniel Murphy. 2-1 game versus the Nats, and that's not good for my World Series pick, Nats. So long fly ball and well foul, though. Well foul, but went very high. Looked nice off the bat, but well foul. So, I mean, they got 3 outs to do something here, and it's making me a little nervous on my pick.
So let's assume, the Cubs hold on here, get that 2-1, and then they're up 2-1 in the series. Do you see the Nats coming back at all, or do you think it's over that next game?
I mean, I think they have to win today, and that's making me nervous because that's my pick. I'm wondering if they'll be willing to give Strasburg short rest. I know how much they've used, putting him on pitch counts. As we talked about that early in his career, and they've been very not willing to really stretch, watch his innings and all pitches. I mean, I know I don't want to make it too desperate, but I kind of feel like you have to start him on short rest because the matchup for Game 4 right now is Roark with a 13-11 4.67 ERA versus Arrieta. Yeah, Arrieta's had a rougher year, but we've seen him in the past, especially with the Cubs World Series run.
He's still a guy,
Yeah, and I don't want to see him in a win or go home matchup, and I'm not throwing a great pitch. I'm nothing against Roark. He's done it. He does have a winning record overall in the year, but
yeah,
I mean, especially with the offense not showing up, and that's kind of where I put my pick on them from is
did Strasburg play game 2 or game 1?
Game 1.
Game 1.
He can go. He
should be able to go.
And I know, obviously when they announced it, it was, obviously, it doesn't. You don't know where you're at in the series. And by the way, Murphy just struck out. Not good there for the Nats. So 1 out there. But yeah, I mean, obviously things can change, easily change. We'll see probably pretty soon after this game. I'm sure we're going to see Strasburg announced for game 4.
So are you thinking, so let's go ahead and assume Cubs hang on here. Mm-hmm. You think they'll pitch? I do agree. I think they'll go Strasburg in that next one. They might, depending on what the score looks like, if they're ahead, they might pull them early just to save them up for a little bit. But then let's say they win that next game and they tie it up 2-2. Mm-hmm. Do they pitch Gio?
They'll probably have to pitch Gio just because Scherzer did get up into the 90s today.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Gio, and then Matt Scherzer could go to the pen, and he could probably provide 2-3 innings. I'm not thinking too long more, but I could see game 5 going back if they go back to Washington. Gio and then Scherzer, as we had a ground out for Zimmerman, so now we're down to the last out here.
Yeah, I could definitely see them doing Scherzer in the bullpen because you got to think they have to win that game, and then if they win that game, they go into a 7-game series after that. So they don't have to worry about we need our number 1, number 2, number 3 right now. They have 7 games. He can pitch game 2, game 3. It doesn't really matter as long as he gets in there. So I think if they had to use him in the bullpen there, I think they would too. But yeah, so
and I just want to say, Jason Worth is batting, by the way, for the last possible out. But I did want to say why I picked the Nats. I know their offense was sluggish in September, but I kind of was hoping it obviously wouldn't be doing what it is right now. Not making me look good, but just the fact of who they have and the fact that they're all playing bad or not up to their standards right now in September. But when you have a lineup where you can lead off with Trey Turner, just a deadly rookie, speed and some pop. He's really struggled this series. Bryce Harper, Anthony Rendon, David Murphy, Ryan Zimmerman. This is a dangerous lineup. Yeah. And even Matt Wieters, I know he has not had a great year at all, but his past history of being a well-hitting catcher. Jason Worth, has a history. I know he's not been what they paid him to be, but the names and the type of offense they could have, I know September wasn't great. My whole idea was thinking, well, slow September, but it matters when you get hot. So if they get hot right when the playoff starts, that offense could carry them.
Yeah, and plus that offense in a 3-game series where you have Gio, Strasburg, and Scherzer, I don't blame you for picking the Nats. Honestly, I think I picked the Cubs, but obviously I'm not a baseball expert. But with that lineup that has some big names on it that you think should be able to get it done, and then those 3 pitchers, I haven't watched enough Nationals to know how good their bullpen is. But with those 3 starters, you would think maybe you won't need the bullpen to be that great.
That always has been a problem for the Nationals, the bullpen. And they did shore it up a little bit. They added Doolittle, Kitzler, and Madison. Madison and Doolittle in the same trade from the A's. Doolittle's done a great job closing. Kitzler was actually the Twins closer who they traded away thinking they weren't going to make the playoffs. Then they're like, oh, man, we could have used them. So they have 3 guys that's reliable. Definitely to the standards of some of these other bullpens, they're not the best, but they've done a good job, building it because of how much it's kind of hurt them. But man, if your offense doesn't show up, the fact Strasburg was throwing a no-hitter into the 6th inning and lost a couple runs, but he's throwing a no-hitter, you got to be backing him up at home. And then the second game, their offense just exploded in the 8th, which hadn't happened really all year for them. And then right now, game 3, their only run came off of an error. And Worth just popped out the first, and now the Cubs are leading the series 2-1. Yeah. So, I guess you can't doubt the Cubs. They had a slow start, but they've been one of the best second-half teams, and they won the World Series last year.
World Series champs. So,
Yeah.
So with that, with Worth out right there, Cubs go up 2-1. It'll be interesting to see if what you're predicting with them having to start Strasburg maybe a little early, maybe not, but having to start him and then if they win that Gio in the next game, and then see if Scherzer ends up in that bullpen for them. It'll be fun to see that going forward. So we'll go ahead and drop down to this last NLDS game, the late game. D-backs, who I believe are pitching Darvish, or not Darvish, Greinke, and then Dodgers pitching Darvish. So that's a little interesting matchup there.
It's going to be a good pitching matchup.
So that's a late game starting around 9 o'clock Central for us. So not sure I'll be able to hang in for that one, but we'll see if Dom can.
I'm going to try. It's hard. As I've been giving you guys updates, I'm
getting old. Can't stay up that late anymore.
I know. I've got the tablet. That's why I was running the updates for this game. I mean, I might be in bed with the tablet on and just trying to see how long I can make it, because I don't know how. This last time, man, I tried staying up for that late game. I was falling asleep on the couch. So yeah, but it'll be interesting. I mean, I know we both picked the Diamondbacks. You picked them a little farther than I did. Granted, I can't say much with the Nationals right now, but I picked the Diamondbacks. Like, I'll just kind of reiterate real quick why. I have nothing against the Dodgers. I enjoy watching them. They're a fun team to watch. It's just their playoff history scares me too much. Every time I try to pick them to go far, they let you down. They're kind of like the Nationals right now for me. That's how I'm feeling when I picked them in the past. But I'm a huge Clayton Kershaw fan. Huge. Like, I think he's the best pitcher we've seen in our lifetime. Like, early in his career. I mean, I know there's the guys like Clemens and Pedro, but they started playing really before you really kind of think about what you're watching. I watched Pedro, I watched Clem, I watched those guys, but
we watched them towards the end of their careers.
Exactly. Early in their career, we're 4 or 5. We don't really remember this. When I say Clayton Kershaw's best we've seen, it's like from his beginning of the career. I have seen him.
Yeah, you remember who's this young guy throwing?
Yeah. And he's lowered his ERA every year, just everything. I have to see him once in my life. That's my thing. I know I've said that a lot. So I would love to see him just run the table, just pitch lights out, pull the Madison Bumgarner for a while, where Bumgarner went into that World Series, pitched game 1, 4-7, 1, 5-7, whatever. I can't remember going blank, but where Bumgarner pitched, I think so, where he just pitched 3 games and he dominated all 3. If Kershaw could do that, I would go crazy. I would love it. So I would love to see the Dodgers make a run. If the Nats don't make it, I would be. I'll jump on their bandwagon if they can make a run. I like seeing different, so I would really like to see. Nothing against the Cubs, but I would like to see. If Nats lose, I'm probably going to root for whoever they're against. Nothing because I don't like the Cubs, but I'd like to see someone different in the World Series. But, it'll be interesting. Baseball. Yeah, it's good, and so. I like this game because Greinke is a great home pitcher. And the last time he started versus Dodgers at home, he went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 6 Ks. He's pitched great at home all year, except for the wild card game. That was kind of a bad start for him. But, you don't know. That he has a couple guys in the lineup that are big hitters against him. Corey Seager is batting over 500, 668 on base. I mean, over 1,000 slugging. So, I mean, he's having a great time against Greinke, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. And then Turner has 3 doubles, a home run, and 5 RBI. So he's got a couple guys that have his number. And it'll be interesting to see. And one more interesting stat, the Diamondbacks are 6-0 in win or go home games at their home field, Chase Field. So they got 2. If they win, they've got to win again. So see if they can keep that number and that percentage. As of right now, I think the Dodgers can actually take it. Not Greinke pitching bad. I think Darvish, and Greinke will kind of go toe-to-toe pretty well. And I can see the Dodgers kind of pulling it out, though, with how well their offense is hitting right now. I think if it gets into bullpens, the Diamondbacks do have a good bullpen, but I think if the Dodgers can get Jansen in there, it's over.
All right, so we got a couple of minutes left. Let's just do some predictions real quick. Okay. So we'll go ahead and assume that, like you said, Dodgers finish them. Yeah. So Dodgers get there. Are you going to go ahead and say Cubs with a 2-1 lead, take out your Nats?
I'm going to stick with my pick for now.
Okay.
I'm going to stick with it, especially since I have them so far. Especially since I have them going to Worlds. Yeah.
Since we're just making prediction assumptions.
I'll stick with the Nats because they're my World Series pick. If I only had them in the series and I'm watching this right now, I probably would pick the Cubs. I'll say that. Okay. But because they're my nationals, my World Series pick, I'm going to say they can do it. It's tough, especially with how pumped the Cubs are right now. The momentum's all on the Cubs side, so these batters have to come out. And just tomorrow, they're going to have to just show up because it doesn't even matter. Even if they pitch Roark, I don't care. The hitting has to win the Nationals the game tomorrow.
Right.
Okay. And that needs to take them into Game 5.
So let's assume Nats come back and win. Dodgers win. Don't think about how you picked them for the World Series. With how both teams are playing right now, Dodgers, Nats, NLCS, who comes out of that, who gets the World Series for you?
Okay. If I'm not saying if I'm not thinking about how I picked before the year,
just subjectively,
I'll say regardless, Nationals, Cubs, I think the Dodgers could win in 5 or 6.
Okay.
I think as of now, watching teams play, I think the Dodgers are playing the best National League out of the National League pool right now. So as of now, as of what I've seen, I see the Dodgers in the World Series.
Okay. And then let's do the same thing. Go to the other side, ALCS. So we know Houston's in it, 3-1 against the Sox. Let's go ahead and assume you're assuming Cleveland closes it out. What's that, tomorrow?
Tonight?
No, it is tonight. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's assume Cleveland closes it out. We got 3-1 Cleveland over the Yanks. So then we got Cleveland versus Houston in that ALCS. Based on, like I said, based on how they're playing right now, Cleveland, Houston to face the Dodgers in the World Series for you.
I know I did pick the Astros, but not taking that into consideration, I do think the Astros are playing better.
Okay.
So I would have to say, though, I see this game going 6-7. If that series happens, Astros, Indians, that series is going 6 or 7 games. And I know I did pick the Astros in 7, but I'm thinking they're going to have to win in 6 because Game 7 would be in Cleveland.
Okay.
I'm not saying the Astros couldn't win on the road, but now that I'm thinking and seeing these games, I think the Astros need to close it out in 6 to beat the Indians right now. And same with the Yankees. If they had to play the Yankees, they would get Game 7 at home then.
So do you think Houston would close that out in the 6, or do you think it would go to 7 and Cleveland would win it?
That's tough. Right now,
executive decision, Dom.
Right now, I still think the Astros could win in 7.
Okay.
They're playing very well. Everything's clicking for them. The game they lost, they lost. It was kind of like you do lose one. You didn't sweep them, but they play great. They've been by far the better team all series. I still think right now they could beat Cleveland if everything keeps rolling like they are right now. Because their lineups in 1 through 9, and that's what's going to be the difference in Cleveland. Because Cleveland, they've had some of their better batters aren't hitting great. So 1 through 9, their order's not as
Right.
You can pick out some guys like 7, 8, 9's kind of struggling. Can't wait to get there. Astros 7, 8, 9. I don't want to get to their 7, 8, 9. Yuri Gurriel, dude's a hidden. He's been like 7th. Brian McCann down there. He's a veteran hitter. I don't really want to face the Astros 7, 8, 9 right now. So
okay, so just real quick with a way too early prediction, you got Dodgers, Astros. Real quick, who wins it? Obviously, this could change by the end of the night.
That's true. This could change easily. Watching that
based off those predictions, real quick, how they're playing, Dodgers, Astros.
Dodgers in 6.
All right. How many games does Kershaw pitch?
Dodgers in 7. Dodgers in 7, and I think Kershaw pitches 3 times
and dominates them all. That we'll close out with that bold prediction by Dom. I kind of forced him to make a prediction, but so that's the end of the show for today. We will be back next week. A few of these games will play out. A few of these series, I think, will already be underway with the ALCS and NLCS, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully Thomas will be back by then. If he's, I mean, honestly, y'all should all go tweet him, Facebook him, Snapchat him, whatever. Make him feel really terrible for missing this. And then, usual thing, go follow our Facebook, go follow our Twitter at We Talk Sport Good. Snapchat, our Snapchat code's on the Twitter. Subscribe, like, comment, ask questions, all that good stuff. And that'll do it for us. We will see you next week on the Walk Off Walk.